Our topic of today, this morning, is on migraine. A lot of people have been complaining of migraine, and in fact, some people actually mix migraine up with some other things. So today we're going to demystify migraine, talk about it, and also have a guest, a doctor, actually let us know what it means, why, and how it happens to people, if it is natural, if it is hereditary, if you can get it from birth, all of these questions we'll be asking. But of course, let's get into the conversation. Now, migraine can also be called migraine headache. Now, a headache of varying intensity, often accompanied by nausea and sensitivity to light sound. Migraine headaches are sometimes preceded by warning symptoms. Triggers include hormonal changes, certain food and drink, stress, and exercise. Now, I know that a lot of people that go through various stress complain about headaches, like a lot of headaches. And then, now they say, according to what I have heard, I'm going to clarify that with the guest when we have him online. According to what I have heard, when you have certain parts of your head extremely hurting, it probably means that you have a migraine. That is extremely hurting, and probably you've gone through stress, your hormones have changed, or mostly I know about stress. You stress yourself a lot, you're probably not sleeping well, or you're not eating, or you're not resting properly, then, a part of your head starts to hurt, and then you're not able to think properly, you're having dizzy spells, you're really not feeling very good, then you may have migraine. I think it's also connected to high blood pressure, but I'm not very sure. I know that sometimes people with high blood pressure or hypertension complain of a lot of migraines.
Migraine. Okay, all right. I'm glad that we actually have the guest online with us this morning in name of Dr. Emejulu Dinyeluchukwu. Good morning, sir. Good morning, doctor. All righty. I think you... Okay.
We're trying to connect with him this morning, and we're hoping to get Dr. Emejulu just to talk about migraine with us.
So my experience of migraine was actually doing one of my research projects. And obviously with research, you're spending, hours and nights reading through loads of documents or whatever, looking for information. And that can be quite stressful. You understand? So I've not really been a victim of migraine a lot, but it was just that period. I had one spell of a migraine, and because when I finished the research project, it left. So I know people who, I'm saying that because I know people who consistently get migraines. All right, so we have our guest with us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Emejulu.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you very much. Very glad you can join us on this conversation on migraines. All right, so to get into the conversation very quickly, what is a migraine?
A migraine is basically a neurovascular disorder. By neurovascular, we mean a problem with the brain and blood vessels. That blood vessels in the brain that give rise to headaches in association with other symptoms. That's basically what a migraine is.
So how does it occur? Like, how does it start? Is it hereditary? Does it emanate from how does it start, really?
I didn't get it.
Like, how do you get a migraine?
Okay. A migraine is, up to now, no one really knows how a migraine starts up, but there are certain risk factors to having a migraine. First, what we know is that migraines are genetic.
Okay.
Which means that if someone in the family has a migraine, then there's every likelihood that a relative will also have a migraine. So it's a genetic issue.
Okay.
Then there are other risk factors that are linked to migraines. such as being a woman, like you are more prone to a migraine than I am.
Interesting.
Women are actually 3 times more likely to have migraines than men are. Then also, this is probably because women have some hormonal factors to it. Some women complain of migraines usually around the time of their period or just before their periods. Then migraines are also linked to stress, and then certain triggers. Some things in the environment can trigger it apart from stress too. And these triggers depend on different individuals.
Interesting. All right. So, what makes migraine different from headache? Because when I was reading it up, it says it's a type of headache, but then we're used to saying, "Oh, I have a headache." But then medical practitioners say regular headaches is different from migraines. Why? What is the difference?
That's where the twist comes. Remember at the beginning I said a migraine is a neurovascular problem that gives rise to headaches in addition to some other issues, which means that the headaches are like the major issues, the major problem rather in the migraine. But there are other things around it. That's why doctors will always tell you that migraine is not essentially a headache. So just a brief explanation. Headaches are divided into 2 categories. There's what we call primary headaches and secondary headaches.
Okay.
Now, secondary headaches are headaches caused by some other systemic problem like malaria, typhoid, and the rest. Whereas primary headaches are headaches of unknown origin. That's headaches that just started up without any particular explanation. There are many types of them as well. There's cluster headaches, there's tension type headaches, there's drug overuse headaches, and the rest. And then that's where migraine comes under. So for migraines now, although we don't really know what starts it up, that's why it's put under the category of primary headaches. But the headaches are not the only thing. There are usually 3 phases of a migraine. There's the stage that comes hours before the main migraine, sometimes even days before the main migraine. That's the stage that's called the prodromal stage or prodromal phase. In that stage, people can start feeling ill, feeling like they just feel unwell generally. Then maybe within few hours to when they will not have the headaches, they start having nausea, vomiting, or feeling like vomiting. They start being sensitive to light, things like that, or sensitive to loud noise. That's the oral stage. That's the stage just before the headaches. Then after that, they now start having the headaches proper. So it's at that point in time people now start getting worried, because before then they didn't really know that those symptoms they had were actually signs that they were going to have the migraine. So that's the difference between a migraine and a headache. A migraine, headaches are part of migraine. A headache is a symptom that is part of the component of a migraine.
Okay.
I don't know if I...
Yeah, that actually makes sense. All right, so can a person be completely cured of a migraine, essentially?
Is it possible?
Is it possible?
Generally speaking, the answer will be no. Because like we said, migraines are genetic. Usually genetic problems don't have a permanent cure. They come in episodes like that. People have scars that will come and go. So there's no permanent cure for migraine. It can only be managed or controlled, just like hypertension.
Okay. All right. So in what ways can it be managed? In what ways can a person manage, these particular episodes? Okay.
The first thing in the management of migraine is to identify the triggers. Remember we said that there are certain things that trigger migraines, apart from the risk factors. First of all, being a woman, you know that you are more prone to having a migraine. Now, if you've never had one before, you know you are more prone to having a migraine. For those who already have migraines from time to time, each person has a peculiar prodromal of the migraine. Some people have migraines without aura or prodromal phase, but some people do have prodromal and oral phases of migraine. So if you usually have headache and migraines, you have to identify those things that usually precede your headaches, and then take analgesics or certain prophylactic drugs before, once you start feeling those signs or symptoms, those things that tell you that the migraine is coming. Then secondly, if you don't have migraines at all yet, but you have the risk factors of having migraines, like family history, like we talked about, being a woman, or having some signs that migraines may come up, you may want to focus on living a healthy life. So fruits and vegetables are very good because they provide some of the vitamins and chemicals that help in controlling the migraine, because migraine is usually due to some chemical imbalance in the brain that affects the nervous and vascular system. So fruits and vegetables will help to maintain those chemicals in the brain and prevent the migraine. Then finally, when migraine comes up, for those people who have it, it will usually help if they take a nap, or if they rest, or if they can identify their triggers, they avoid those triggers. So generally, that's it.
Okay, so let's talk about treatments. You have mentioned a couple of things, but I'd like to know what somebody that has a migraine can actually do. Is it necessary for them to actually go see a neurologist? Can they get over-the-counter drugs? What can somebody experiencing migraine do?
Okay. Now, like I said, the first step is to identify what your triggers are. Let me just repeat it. If you usually have migraines before, once you identify the auras or the signs that precede the migraine, you can prevent the migraine by taking analgesics. Over-the-counter paracetamol or ibuprofen is good enough. Sometimes you may take drugs that they use for vomiting. They are also very good. This avomine, and the rest. However, if you are not able to prevent the migraine by taking these prophylactic measures when the aura or prodromal phase comes and the migraine starts, it will be very good to do the following things. One, it will really help to go into a dark room, because most times people who have migraines are sensitive to light and sound, excessive light and sound, or high intensity light and sound. So you want to go to a dark or darkened, quiet room and rest. Second thing you can do is to put a cold compress over your forehead, like an ice pack, or even if it's cold water, you dip a towel in cold water or wrap it around an ice pack and put it on the forehead. That will also help. Then you can also take over-the-counter analgesics even during the headaches. Apart from some more ibuprofen, you could take avomine, like we talked about. You could also take triptans. Triptans are drugs that are used for people who have depression, but they've also been shown to be effective for those who have migraines when the headaches have actually started. However, if you notice that the headache you are having, is important to say this, because most times when we talk about how to prevent at home, it's also good to put a clause or a limit to it. There are certain red flags for those who usually have migraine, and once you have this, you should run to the hospital immediately, because migraine, the major symptom of migraine is headaches, and those headaches can also be caused by a number of systemic issues that we talked about in the beginning. Some of them are very dangerous and life-threatening.
Yeah. Okay.
Apart from malaria, typhoid, we have a lot of them. Bleeding in the brain can cause headache. There are different types of bleeding in the brain, and that is fatal. So once you notice that the type of headache you are having at the moment is different from what you usually have, that's for those who have migraine, you need to rush to the hospital and know that this may not be the type of, this may not be your usual migraine. Or if you notice that the intensity is now getting worse, despite what it is, you need to rush the hospital. Aside from that, these basic home remedies usually will take away the migraine in 98% of the cases.
Thank you so much, Dr. Emejuludin Oluchukwu. Thank you very much joining us this morning on the show. We've been able to learn a lot of things on migraines and what you can do when you have migraines. Have yourself a lovely day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, we've had a conversation with Emejuludin Oluchukwu on migraine, and he has been able to break it down. One thing that I've been able to pick is that migraine is not necessarily a headache, but it is a means to an end. Now, please make sure that you see a physician if you feel that you're experiencing some of these things, because there are times whereby it might be something and it may not be it, but you cannot determine all of these things yourself if you don't go ahead to see your doctor or to see your health or your medical practitioner.